Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm 25 now, but this story starts back when I was 22, fresh out of college and eager to dive into life. I had dreams, big ones. I had always been the overachiever, the type who set her sights on goals and then worked tirelessly to achieve them. But life, as it often does, had other plans. Growing up in a small town in Wisconsin, I never felt like I truly fit in. I was quiet, a bit of a bookworm, and I spent most of my time lost in my thoughts, dreaming about the future. I had a few close friends, but there was always a part of me that longed for something bigger than what my hometown could offer. I was determined to break out. So when I got into the University of Chicago, I packed up and left without looking back. College was an exciting experience, new city, new people, and a new sense of independence. I thrived academically, and for the first time, I felt like I was exactly where I needed to be. But like many of us, I underestimated the weight of the real world. After graduating, the pressure to figure out my life hit hard. I was expected to have everything sorted out. Career, relationships, and future goals, all neatly tied up with a bow. The problem was, I had no idea what I was doing. I moved to a new city, started working at a marketing firm, and tried to convince myself that everything was going to be okay. But the truth was, I was overwhelmed, unsure, and struggling to find my place. And then, something unexpected happened. It was one of those typical Tuesday afternoons when the world felt heavy. I had just finished a meeting at work and was on my way to grab lunch. As I walked through the city, I passed by a small coffee shop I had never noticed before. Something about it seemed inviting, so I decided to stop in. Inside, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air and soft indie music played in the background. The place had an intimate feel, with mismatched furniture and warm lighting. I ordered a cappuccino and found a quiet corner by the window, hoping for some peace. Just as I settled in with my coffee, a voice interrupted my thoughts. "Mind if I sit here?" I looked up, slightly startled. Standing in front of me was a man in his late 20s, wearing a worn-out leather jacket and a friendly smile. He had kind eyes that seemed to carry a quiet wisdom. "Sure," I said, gesturing to the empty seat across from me. We started talking, and before I knew it, an hour had passed. His name was Alex, and he was an artist who had recently moved to the city from New York. He told me about his travels, his passion for photography, and how he was trying to make a name for himself as a freelance artist. His stories were fascinating, and his calm demeanor made me feel at ease. For the first time in a while, I didn't feel pressured to have all the answers or to prove anything. We exchanged numbers, and from there, our friendship grew. Alex became someone I could talk to about everything: work stress, the uncertainty of life after college, and the struggle of finding a sense of purpose. He had a unique way of looking at the world, and his perspective helped me see things differently. As the weeks passed, Alex and I spent more time together. What started as casual coffee shop conversations turned into long walks around the city, visits to art galleries, and late-night talks about our dreams and fears. The more I got to know him, the more I admired his ability to embrace uncertainty. He wasn't afraid of the unknown. In fact, he seemed to thrive in it. But, as much as I admired his free-spirited approach to life, I couldn't help but feel envious. I had spent so much of my life planning every move, trying to control the outcome of everything. Alex, on the other hand, was okay with not having all the answers. He didn't feel the pressure to have a perfect career or a clear path forward. He lived in the moment, which was something I had never learned how to do. Over time, our friendship deepened. We would talk for hours about everything from art and philosophy to the simple joys of life. But there was an underlying tension between us, a feeling that perhaps something more was brewing beneath the surface. I could sense it, but I wasn't sure if he felt the same way. Then, one night, we found ourselves sitting on a bench by the lake, watching the stars. The city lights reflected off the water, creating a peaceful, almost magical atmosphere. Alex turned to me and smiled softly. "You know," he said, his voice gentle, "I think you're one of the most amazing people I've ever met." My heart skipped a beat. The way he said it, so sincere, so genuine, left me speechless. I had always struggled with believing in my own worth, but in that moment, I felt seen. I felt like maybe, just maybe, I was enough. We sat in silence for a while, just taking in the moment. And then, without warning, he reached for my hand. I froze for a second, unsure of what to do, but when I looked at him, I saw nothing but kindness in his eyes. Slowly, I relaxed and took his hand in mine. "I'm glad you're in my life, Natalie," he said softly, his thumb gently brushing the back of my hand. "You make everything feel a little brighter." I didn't know what to say. I had never been good at expressing my feelings. But in that moment, I knew I was starting to feel something more than friendship for him. The connection between us had evolved into something deeper, and I wasn't sure if I was ready for it. But I was open to seeing where it would go. As our relationship grew, so did my internal conflict. I was still trying to figure out who I was and what I wanted. Alex, on the other hand, had already figured out how to live authentically. I admired his ease and freedom, but it made me question myself even more. Was I doing enough with my life? Was I making the right choices? Was I following my own dreams? Or was I just living out a version of someone else's? My insecurities began to surface, and I became distant. I started pulling away from Alex, feeling like I wasn't good enough to be with him. He noticed, of course. And one evening, he confronted me. "Natalie, what's going on?" he asked, his tone calm but concerned. "I can tell something's bothering you. We don't have to have everything figured out, but I need you to be honest with me." I didn't know how to respond. I wanted to tell him how I was feeling, but the words caught in my throat. Finally, I blurted out, "I'm scared. Scared that I'm not enough for you. Scared that I'll never be as sure of myself as you are." Alex's expression softened. He didn't say anything at first. He just looked at me with understanding. Then he took my hands in his and spoke from the heart. "Natalie, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have everything figured out right now. What I love about you is your ability to dream, to care, and to keep going even when you're uncertain. It's okay to be scared. It's okay not to have all the answers. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to walk beside you." Alex's words stayed with me long after that conversation. For the first time, I realized that I didn't need to have everything under control. I didn't have to fit into some mold of perfection. I could make mistakes, learn from them, and still be worthy of love and happiness. Over the next few months, I focused on my personal growth. I took the time to explore what truly mattered to me, what made me happy, what gave me a sense of purpose. I started painting again, something I hadn't done since high school. I enrolled in a creative writing class and rediscovered my love for storytelling. I also took a deep dive into self-care, learning to trust myself and my instincts more. Alex continued to be a supportive presence in my life, but I started to realize that I didn't need him to complete me. I was already whole, and that was the greatest lesson I could have learned. My journey was my own, and I was stronger than I had ever realized. Looking back on the past few years, I've learned that life isn't about having everything figured out. It's about embracing the unknown, taking risks, and finding strength in the struggles. It's about learning to trust yourself and knowing that you are enough, just as you are. I still don't have everything figured out, but I've learned that that's okay. I'm constantly growing, constantly evolving, and that's the beauty of life. Every step, every challenge, every joy is a part of the journey. If you're feeling lost or unsure, know that you don't have to have all the answers right now. Life is about learning, about becoming the person you're meant to be. And you are more than enough. Thank you for listening to my story.